50. Dolphins.
Oh, man.
Season over, Terry.
Season's done, mate.
Fins up.
Maybe Wayne Bennett has lost his aura, but we did pick him a
Could never be us.
No, never be us. Never. Could never be us. Never.
Oh, we should have seen that one.
Oh, God. Why does this always happen to us?
PH Uck.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport and the Stubby Club. Don't forget to like and subscribe online. Dan?
I hate rugby league.
Oh, I hate rugby league as well. What a weekend.
What a weekend. My arms both had to be twisted to get me on the couch today. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Shout out Stegs, who did a fantastic episode last week. And geez, I'm glad it was last week, not tonight.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you would have heard the end of it because...
I wouldn't have turned up.
Absolutely not. I nearly called in sick again.
Yeah, completely fair too.
Now, someone who has made headlines for making lots of people sick in the past with the way he hasn't performed, he's playing really well at the moment, and he's knocked back the Tigers on a 2-year deal. Luke Brooks, on the move. I think it's the right decision for the club. I just think it's come at the wrong time.
Yeah, this is...
Because now they're building, and he looks really good.
He does. Look, Brooks has made the decision that the club should have made 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Brooks, for 2 years straight, is like, I want to go to Newcastle, I need a fresh start. And the club has said, no.
Yep.
Now they've gone to Brooks and said, hey, you're playing real well, here's your contract. And he said, no.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you he's either headed straight up the highway to Newcastle or down the highway to Canberra. Probably Canberra now that I say it out loud. But I think this is good for everyone involved and 2 years overdue.
Well, there's a huge rumour going that he's about to sign for Leeds in the UK.
Well, that's more than up or down a highway.
That is more than up or down a highway. That's up in the air a little bit as well. But there's another club that's had their eye on Luke Brooks in the past, and I feel that it makes a little bit of sense. That's the Canterbury Bulldogs. Now, Matt Burton playing some okay footy at the moment.
As a six. Yeah.
Can't do it all on his own. They've thrown Josh Reynolds at him. Terrible decision. They've thrown Kyle Flanagan at him. Kyle Oluwapu, though, looks really good.
There's a lot of talent there, but not yet.
No, not yet. But, yeah, I think there's a couple of suitors for Luke Brooks, but it wouldn't surprise me if he just went, you know what, let's just leave the stigma of the NRL and I'll go over into the Super League. Now, he's walking into the Leeds Rhinos team that was stacked on paper this year and were one of the competition favourites. They're dreadful.
Yeah, they're not much chop, but, I mean, history doesn't lie.
Yeah, but, I mean, if Brodie Croft can go over there and be...
Man of the match every single week. Yeah.
Now, actually, if Luke Brooks left the NRL never playing a finals game.
Went over and won a grand final. It's on. You don't even care. You just want to leave on that.
I just want to leave it on that.
That's completely fair, and it does really not look good considering he's played for like 40 years straight. Yeah. He will go to England and he will win a premiership with Leeds. I'm willing to go on here. Yeah. I don't think it happens yet. I think he ends up in Canberra as their halfback with Fogarty moving to 6. I think that's the move. Best for all involved.
Oh, I mean, that combination of Fogarty and Brooks, you just put a number on their back.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where, just playing both sides. I like it, but I think the Tigers, although publicly they're saying it's a bit of a shame, I don't think they'll be too upset. The fan base certainly isn't, judging by the replies.
No, but the only other thing now is that who's left?
It's their problem.
Who's left?
Well, Adam Dewey's got to come back into the halves and wake him to 7. Is it easy fix? That's not good enough. I think they go after Braden Trinnell, but if you're watching Tigers, don't do that.
Don't do it. We've got to do Origin. I know you don't like it.
I tried to not.
Yep. We've got another Origin-affected round coming up.
Ooh.
Let's talk about New South Wales. Down 1-0. Let's just leave it there.
That's completely fair.
No, down 1-0, and wholesale changes are coming. Wholesale changes are coming now. It looks like Stephen Crichton's going to be dropped, even though I thought he was...
He was okay.
He was good. Latrell Mitchell comes back into the team, obviously.
Obvious, yep.
Turbo, going to be fit. He was really good on the weekend, by the way.
He's very, very good, yep.
Now, Jerome Luai looks like he's going to be a casualty of Nathan Cleary.
It begs the question, doesn't it, Terry?
What's the question, Daniel?
Well, has Jerome Luai only been picked the last few seasons because of his club combination with Nathan Cleary?
Brad Fittler has absolutely said that.
I was just going to say, if there was any question at all, it's just been answered by the fact that he's gone, and it looks like Cody Walker is coming in. Now, the teams will be released by the time this is, full disclosure.
We're
But
going off innuendo.
all the mail and all the tweets, etc.
Now, in saying this, Cody Walker is the form 5'8" of the competition.
Leading the try assist, leading the line break assist, being absolutely
Scoring
irresistible.
hundreds of tries, yeah.
Irresistible.
Yeah, you know, like for mine, he is one of the 3 best players in the competition at
At the
present.
moment, I have no problem with his being chosen.
Now, an absolute leapfrog, because at the beginning of game 1, you were talking about, is it going to be Cleary, is it going to be Hines? It's going to be Mitch Moses.
Yeah, it's going to be Mitch Moses. I want to be contradictory here and say I don't like it, but he had no choice. It can't be Hines. Hines has proven over the last few weeks he's just not in the right mindset right now. I would have been okay with Adam Reynolds, but he had a stinker the other night. I know he set up the winning try. He
scored the winning try.
He played pretty well in the last 5 minutes. But he played Newcastle.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen people come out and say, all you need to do is play well against the Bulldogs to get an origin spot, referencing Moses. You don't watch much football, do you? He's been fantastic all season in a team that's not doing that well. Now, I know that, again, sounds contradictory, but it ain't Mitch Moses' fault. And he looked even better without Dylan Brown there this weekend.
He did. Now, Tavita Pangai Jr. looks like he's lost his spot.
Oh, well.
Spencer Linu, they want to throw out one hard head penalty waiting to happen for Spencer Linu.
I don't hate it because I actually like Spencer Lino, but I mean, David
Clemmer got to do to get a game?
I don't know. Campbell Gillard played really well in return. I'd be rushing him back in there. And the Saifidi twins, they're okay, but they're really big. I don't get it. I don't know what he's done to offend Brad Fittler. Yay, Lino?
Yeah. Linu's not the player I would have picked. What New South Wales doesn't need are more Penrith players.
No, they don't need more Penrith players. They need a big body who can just go straight. Sounds easy, right? Rugby league's such an easy.
Api Coruscant, the broken jaw, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Looks like he's been replaced by Reece Robson and Damien Cook, which means Nico Hines will drop off the bench and out of the 17 completely.
Yeah, look, I think that's common sense. We saw in game 1 that if the idea was to play a player at hooker, pick a hooker. So he has. I like Reece Robson. He's obviously the next one up. I would definitely be giving Damien Cook as much time as needed and using Robson as the backup there.
But my question again comes to you, Dan, that if there's an injury in the centres, you've either got to put Cook or Robson there.
Yeah, but you can't. You got Cam Murray can play. Liam Martin's played centre. You can't pick 4 injuries. But if you're going to pick...
You can pick Matt Burton. Yeah.
Look, that's where I was going. If you're going to pick a utility, pick a utility. If your plan is to play Cook 60 and Robson 20, do that.
Yeah.
Just have a plan this week.
Just have a plan, yeah. Everything else picks itself in terms of the back row. I thought Tyson Frizzell, who had been on Origin hiatus for a while, came back and didn't do himself any harm. Sounds like Hudson Young's going to keep his spot as well.
I don't agree with that. I thought he was atrocious and did himself no favours this past weekend.
But that's Brad Fittler for you. So let's talk about Queensland, Dan. After game 1, I felt not many... What changes do you need to make for that? I felt that Dane Gagai maybe could have come around, in and around the squad.
That's fair. Yeah, Hammer was very, very good.
Hammer was really good as well. I feel in this, Corey Horsburgh maybe could fancy himself a little bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Tom Dearden, not the 18th man anymore.
No, he's been moved back.
Been replaced.
Which probably the Cowboys probably had something to say about that, just quietly.
AJ Brimson has come into the...
Well, I don't think they play this weekend.
Yeah, probably not.
It's probably that. Probably that.
Whatever it
Who
is.
cares? Billy Slater's Queensland.
Coates in for Cobbo, and then you've got
Straight swap.
You've got Gilbert and Arrow out for Fodawaker and Jeremiah Nanai. Now, I saw lots of people questioning this. Could Capewell come in? No.
I named Capewell, just quietly. Now, look, Nane, okay, this is a bloke that averages about 50 metres, right? You put that Queensland, that becomes a 150, and he scores a hattie. So, as a New South Walesman, I'm not like, yay, Nanai, but I'm not boo Nanai.
I think the reason why they've picked Nanai on that right edge over Capewell is just defensive, because he's going to be up against Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah, look, that's completely
fair. And Nanai, for as lazy as he is a terrific defender.
He's done very, very well at this level previously. Last year he was really good. So I think Billy Slater's pretty much nailed it bang on, which I hate. What's it like to have a coach that isn't a complete...
For a loop.
That's the word I was after.
It's amazing.
I'd like to try one day.
Now, Dan, controversy?
Always.
The 11-day standout period for concussions.
Mandatory.
Unless you don't want it to be mandatory.
Completely fair. Look, everyone knows the best way is
to write
say,
a letter.
No, thank you.
Now, This started. Tom Travojevic was completely knocked out in the game.
Cat 1 as Cat 1.
Cat 1. Straight away. They ruled him out, didn't even give him the test.
Ooh.
But Manly wrote a letter saying, the Turbo's all right.
Yeah.
He ain't got
He's fine, yeah,
he ain't
it's
got
all
any
good.
symptoms. He's good.
He's good at training.
Look, we've got a photo of him, and there was Tom propped up.
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie styles.
Yeah. Now,
Weekend at Turbos.
the Dogs did the same thing with Reid Marnie, and the NRL knocked him back.
Yeah, because they didn't have him at the right angle. Yeah.
Right. So Turbo gets to
It's
play.
so stupid. I cannot
Reid
believe
Marnie
this.
doesn't get to play. Liam Martin absolutely knocked out against Jared Waerea-Hargreaves. Now, there was
his hip.
there was a certain Penrith fan that wanted Waerea-Hargreaves suspended for that run.
Well, for standing there and getting headbutted in the hip.
Yeah. Now, Liam Martin was as unconscious as you could get.
Yes.
Blood gushing from his head. Now, to cut Liam Martin's head open, that's big contact, right? Because that is a head on it. Where I think they get around this is that's the 11th day.
You can't train during the 11-day stand down, though.
Right, okay.
Or not intensively.
No, you can't do contact.
Yeah, so you're telling me that for 10 and a half days, no contact, 11th, you go play Origin? This rule is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You either make it mandatory or you don't. It's as simple as that, because I guarantee you if it's a club game, he's not playing next week without a shadow of a doubt.
But this is this is the absolute thing about the NRL. They write all these rules and they make all these changes until something goes to affect state of origin. And then they turn around and go, not this week.
It didn't mean it.
Yeah, he's all right. He was not all right.
He was not all right. Now, if this is a grand final, okay, I know it's a week after, but say we have a week off. We put a Super Bowl week off. And it's mandatory that he stays down for that time. Should he play the grand final?
Look, if he gets knocked out in the prelim and the grand final's a week away, no.
Yep.
Absolutely not. But I think you're going to get to that point where they're going to have the prelim and then you have your week off. Maybe have an All-Stars game for all the other teams that didn't get in there. Or have something.
This is going to come up. This is absolutely going to come up.
Because you watch, it's going to be a superstar. It's going to be a Nathan Cleary, Latrell Mitchell.
Yep. And they're going to go maybe 6.5 day stand down.
Yeah.
I would be okay with this if they didn't say mandatory 11 day stand down, because that to me says, unfortunately, Liam Martin can't play Origin.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Tommy Turbo should have been able to go and carve up the Dolphins.
Absolutely right.
Now, Dan?
Yes, Terry.
Hey, the old COVID handshake, it's back.
In rugby league form.
It is back in rugby league form now. We've seen a few of these in recent weeks. Tino has been at the centre of them. Now, the first one he did...
Tino, forearmer full Masali.
Yep. Nice.
Thank you.
Now, he hit Reid Marnie, was charged.
Yeah, knocked him out.
Fined.
HA'd him,
Yep. Fined. Now, the one with Api Coruscant, before I say anything about it, I want to hear your opinion on the Tino versus Api Coruscant.
Hugely unfortunate, unlucky, but nothing in it.
Yeah, so I was in Dubbo on the weekend with my stepdad, who was saying that it was completely intentional. So we looked it up.
Yep.
Tino is exactly my height.
Yep.
Api is exactly my stepdad's height. And I said to my stepdad, you run at me, I'm allowed to have my bumpers, we'll put them up and we'll see what's happened, right? Now my stepdad and Appy are drinking, eating their food out of a straw. So
look, well,
it's what happens,
science,
right? And it was an experiment, right? But it just proved that it was an accident, although mine was intentional.
It sucks, but it is what it is.
That was an accident, right? The Jared Waerea-Hargreaves on Moses Leota is the next one that comes up now. I think people only reacted to this because it was Jared Waerea-Hargreaves. That's Lindsay Collins.
I did,
says shit.
100%. No, I didn't. But I might have.
I don't think there was anything in that either. Again, it's just a big... Now, Waerea-Hargreaves knew he had a target on his back at that point there, and he had the biggest dude in the Penrith lineup coming at him, and he had James Fisher-Harris on the other side coming at him. He was just bracing for a hit.
He was. Again, you're allowed to protect yourself as long as your arm's here. I'm okay with it.
If you turn out the ball carriers and say you can't defend yourself when you run, everyone's going to get crunched.
Yeah, they will.
Everyone would just get flogged as you go. You're allowed to put your bumpers up. What you aren't allowed to do is what Mike Acevo did.
Exactly right, and this is the one that I expect to see more about. Perhaps by the time
He actually ran like that.
He ran and he collected a guy who had to jump to tackle Sevo up. I think there needs to be a rule of how far you can go. If the ball's here and you're like this, that's too far for me. If your elbow's above your forearm,
Right angle.
But if you're I think pretty much 90 degrees now. I'm sure someone in the comments will know more about this than me. Let us know what the angle should be, but there has to be a rule on this because, like with everything in rugby league, when it happens once, it happens 50 times every weekend. Yeah. This is starting to creep in.
You got to kind of almost rule it like the handball in soccer. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if it's an unnatural position, it's a penalty. But if it's your natural running,
should it be only your ball carrying arm?
No, you're allowed to bump because if you've got your ball carrying arm, and that's all you're going to do is just get people coming at you that side. You're allowed to.
There's no reason for your arm to be up though here. If
I guess that's the palm, right?
Yeah,
that's your fan.
And I mean, if you tuck in and shoulder, then this is going to creep in. There's going to be one of these that's going to lead to a penalty in a big game, as the rugby league law suggests. I don't.
But they won't rub you out for an Origin game.
No, they won't. Gary,
is it that time?
We're contractually obligated.
Talk to me then, Daniel.
To talk some black, white, and blue.
I don't want to.
This past weekend, the Cronulla Sharks were mauled by the Melbourne Storm by 1 million to not very many. I just want to go on and put a disclaimer now that I respect everyone's opinions. You will hear mine.
Yep.
There is no doubt about that. People that are clicking on from the groups to be, hey, yeah, the Sharks are great and they're going to win the premiership. Thank you for your click.
Not for you.
I really appreciate it, but let's catch up next week. This may go a little bit negative, I dare say, Terry. Would you like to kick us off? Because once I start, I will not be stopped.
Well, there's nothing positive to say, right?
I'm positive that it was terrible.
Yeah, so here's me acting the fool thinking that I was actually slightly confident going down to this. I saw how Melbourne played against the Cowboys and just how fragile they'd been on the edges all year. And we are the best attacking team when it comes to exploiting edges and making line breaks on the edges of teams. What I can say, though, is that this group of players had it coming. They've got away with a lot this year in not respecting the ball, forcing too much, trying to score off every play, being too cute, throwing unnecessary passes when you... Like, Nico Hines, our best player, right? The future of our club, the pin-up boy, whatever. He's getting ragdolled, but he's nowhere near the sideline. Take the tackle. Instead, he throws it back into Jerome Hughes. Blake Brayley makes an unnecessary run, passes it to Nico. Just take the tackle. Throws a ball across the face, and Siva Talakai looks up and sees Nelson there and goes, no.
Yeah, that wasn't.
And they go and score.
Absolutely agreed.
I saw someone blame Ronaldo. Ronaldo played the ball.
Yeah, no, that's.
Oh, man, it was frustrating.
It's been a difficult week.
But this is the first time that we've absolutely been punished for not respecting the ball. Like, we had 37% of possession and completed at 60%. So normally in games past, like against the Broncos, we had more possession, but just kept dropping the ball. And in other games this year, the Dolphins, we had more possession, we just dropped the ball. This time, Melbourne starved us of the ball, and we just got tired. There are some pretenders in that team.
Yes, there are. There are some big.
Yeah, and I'm not going to take aim at the back line. Because if it weren't for our back line, we would get absolutely mauled every week.
No forward over 100 metres yet again.
It's the forwards that are letting us down. They're old, they're one-dimensional. The only one of the forwards who can hold his head up high and turn and go had a real crack this week was Jack Williams.
Yeah, that's becoming a theme too.
Braden Hamlin-Uele had one good run and then just packed it in.
Yeah, I think it's becoming very apparent that forward pack just ain't it. And
no.
It's, look, before I get into that, I just want to... The elephant in the room, Matt Moyle. Like, let's just get straight in. If you look at that side and say you're allowed one challenge, Terry, for me it's Moyle and out Trindle. Now, those who haven't watched Newtown the last few weeks, Braden Trindle's been the best player on the park.
He's the best player in New South Wales Cup.
But he's a cheat code, and there are teams that are noticing. We've had that confirmed since. His time in New South Wales Cup will come to an end one way or another very, very soon. Now, I'm hoping that's in Cronulla colours. I'm starting to think it might not, because what the word we're getting is that Moylan will survive the chop this week after missing 11 tackles on the weekend.
The word that's coming out is that Moylan's got 2 weeks on top of the last 2 weeks that he's just had.
He's had a full season. Now, we've seen this a couple of times, and he has produced some good games, but he's a liability.
Look, honestly, that word that came to us that Moylan's got another 2 weeks, that's a joke.
It is a joke. And
if that bloke runs out against the Bulldogs this weekend, Fitz is not the coach that we thought he was.
Now, I've been on record yesterday. I posted on Zero Tackle in the groups, and most people did agree. I think it was pretty obvious. I don't know how you could disagree, but whatever. There are some people, and I respect that have said you think you know better than the coach. I want to go on record here on camera is to say, if Fitzgibbon, who I'm a big fan of, there's a reason we call him Sir Fitz, and it's me, names Matt Moylan in this Tuesday.
Then yes, I know more than him.
I know better than Craig Fitzgibbon. And I never thought I'd say that, because this guy, I still believe is the future. Again, I wouldn't be that annoyed, Terry, if we were, we were getting beaten, but our Jets were getting flogged, and there was just no one screaming the house down. Again, I saw some replies earlier yesterday, by the time this goes live, that said, well, we've got no one that can replace. Okay, look, Jesse Colquhoun is bossing New South Wales Cup. He has come back from an injury, so I understand going
200 metres on the weekend. Fantastic.
Against the Bears, who are the second or third best team in it at worst. You've got, again, I go back to Carl Lero and Sam Stone Street, who are probably a little while off yet, but they're there, so please keep those names in mind. Kay Dykes, of course, is injured, otherwise he'd be playing first grade.
Jayden Berrell.
Jayden Berrell is the best hooker in New South Wales Cup by a long...
Yeah,
it's offensive.
That one's not even close. Yeah.
That needs to come in. And then, look, Tom Hazelton, I know he didn't play for Newtown, but he's been Cronulla's biggest and best forward the last couple of weeks.
So not named Jack Williams.
Jack Williams, of course, but he's a lot bigger than Jack Williams. We need size, Terry. We have Jesse Colquhoun, who's big. We have Tom Hazelton, who's big. I think those two need to come in ASAP, and I think it's time to say, Wade Graham, thank you, but no thank you. Your time as a Shark, momentarily done.
Yep. Now, the next one for mine, it's obvious to say that Wade out, Tommy in.
Done. Easy.
Who's gone between Royce Hunt, Oregon Kaufusi, and Dale Finucane?
I want to say Dale. I want to. Oregon Kaufusi for Colquhoun has to happen.
Yep.
Because he ran for 11 metres in 40 minutes. Now, I know you did reply that we didn't have the ball a lot, but he only made like 7 or 8 tackles too, so it's not like he was working his backside off. If you're making 25 tackles in a 40-minute and you've only had 3 runs, you look and go, okay, it's obvious. That didn't translate.
That work rate was terrible. Now, I didn't have a look at the tackles. What I did have a look at, and I asked the question, in the 40 minutes that he was on the field, we had the ball for 7 minutes, and out of those 7 minutes, we were turning the ball over for 4 of them.
Yeah, it's completely fair. Now, I think, again, I go back to what people were saying. They said, okay, we've had a bad week or two. We haven't beaten a top 8 side. Look, without going off track, we beat the Roosters, we're in the 8, and Manly in the 8 now.
Yeah.
So, okay, it doesn't matter. That stat, let's put out. We haven't played well against a good side for a long, long time. Yeah,
so
it's more than 2
weeks. You put that group of players there against the Rabbitohs at the moment. We're losing by
a
lot. Penrith, I don't even want to play Penrith. And the Storm. And I'm going to even say now, Parramatta are not even in the 8. We beat them in round 2. If they played us now, they pants us.
Parramatta beat us. Now, I fully expect us to come out and beat the Dogs on the weekend, and everyone go, see, everything's sweet. No, you can beat the Dogs and the Tigers, etc. If you're losing...
Would the Tigers beat us at the moment?
Look, their forward pack would beat us. I love the Sharks, mate. I've already said that we're going this Sunday. I'm a sucker for punishment. But if we play like that against the Bulldogs, there's every chance they will beat us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with Pangai Jr. having been dropped from Origin and having a chip.
But it doesn't matter who you play in there, and you've seen that. It doesn't matter who Penrith play. If they have an off game, the Tigers beat them. Yeah.
They do it once in a blue moon, not every second week.
Yeah, but like that performance there was like the last time we caught 50 was Penrith in PVL ball.
Yeah, it's just,
right. That Cronulla team there shouldn't be copping 50.
No, absolutely not.
If you copped 40, you should be offended.
You should be.
But to go down to Melbourne, talk all the bollocks in the world, we're going to bounce back. This is for you haters.
Yeah, but they do this on Instagram.
Yeah,
haters. That has to stop. There is an attitude problem in that group. If they come out and beat the Bulldogs this week and bag the haters...
But here's the other thing that like really upsets me, and he's arguably my favourite player at the club at the moment in Toby Rudolph, right? Here's a guy who's injured, needs to be going through his rehab. He's gone on Nova and gone on those naked dates in saunas at the moment. And that's, like, does anyone actually care? Because for mine, I would have let Will Kennedy on the plane and I would have let Jack Williams on the plane and I would have put Blake Brayley on a plane into the Pacific somewhere and I would have made the others walk home.
Yeah, maybe Nico and
I hate
baggage
Blake Brayley.
based on... I didn't know that. I thought you were going to mention the podcast, which I think has to stop immediately. Yep. I actually said to another Sharks fan that I would say to them, none of this streaming BS during the week and no more podcasts. He did say he's not okay with limiting people's social life, which I agree with, but you got to earn that. You're paid to play rugby league football. I know it's not a 24/7. You got to have your downtime. Do it with your mates. Do it with your teammates. Don't be streaming. Don't be abusing fans. Don't be talking grief, and don't be saying dumb shit that people like us can bring up on a Monday night. I've just broken the fourth wall. Yeah. If you had to make 3 changes this week, because I think any more than 3 is overreacting, would you agree that Moylan for Trindle is so obvious it has to be done?
Moylan for Trindle has to be done.
Hazelton for Wade Graham has to be done.
Yep.
Jess Colquhoun has to come in.
I could live with that, or I could live with either Connor Tracy comes in for Jesse Ramian, or Connor Tracy comes in for Talakai and Talakai shifts to the bench. I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on Connor Tracy, right? I'm not sold on this guy at all. He plays fullback for the Jets. He runs for 200 metres and scores all the tries in the world, whatever he can do. He has played sparingly this season and he's played good. But it's when we have had Connor Tracy in for extended periods of time, and I'm looking at the 2021 season where he was absolutely terrible in defence and tackled at 56%. I'm looking at the time where we were injured last year going to the finals and we relied on Connor Tracy and he was absolutely abused by the North Queensland Cowboys and then he was flogged by Tana Milne and Campbell Graham. Now, we're not talking about 2023 Campbell Graham. Yeah. We're talking about injured into the finals Campbell Graham. So I'm not sold on Connor Tracy. But I can understand why people want him in there because he's played 2 good games. And at the moment, our centres aren't setting the world on fire. What I feel, though, if you move Talakai from the centre is he's the only one who's making breaks for Ronaldo. Because he commands so... Like, Connor Tracy out there, centres will eat him one-on-one. Talakai out there, he attracts 2 and 3 defenders. So that's why I'm not keen on moving him. Now, if someone could come to me and say, like the logic response is always Talakai's got to go for Tracy. If someone came to me and said Tracy for Jesse Ramian, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I am too. Now, I want to stick with Talakai because I think that you can move him in. A couple of weeks ago, I said you absolutely couldn't move him. I'm backtracking. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to admit where I was wrong. I agree with everything you said. Him coming out of our own end has been worth its weight in gold. He led the meters again this week for like the 25th time in a row. Talakai in attack is absolutely no problem, and I think he's our best centre. Touch Talakai, soft hand stiff. He makes Ronaldo the best winger in the game. But it's getting to a point now where that left edge is an absolute meme.
Yeah, but that left edge, Talakai has to cover fatigue, who is covering for himself and Moylan.
I agree with that. And I think Moylan has to go 100%. But I think that I would move Talakai out of the centres onto the bench for this weekend and the game after, putting Connor Tracy there because Hero's just not up to it yet. And I would say, okay, you're going to play 45 minutes. I'm going to inject you after 20, 25 tops, and I'm going to leave you until you bust and we'll take you off. And I'm going to say, I want you to make 30 tackles.
My only issue with that is Talakai played in the back row for us under John Morris, started in the back row and was dropped. Yep. He was dropped and then came back as a centre. And the same thing happened with Fitzgibbon. He was on the bench, he went into the back row, he was dropped, and he came back into the centres. He's terrible in defence when he has to be one in again, and that's probably because he had Moylan next to him again, right? We haven't had a noted defender like Trindle there. You want to put him in the middle of the field?
He's too small to play middle.
He wouldn't catch the ball with Nelson there. Yeah. So putting him in the middle of the field's not good. Putting him on the edge isn't good. You've got to leave him in the centres. I'm making a case for him to stay there. Come at me for Tracy for Ramian, though. Done.
I 100% am moving him one and in, and I'm putting Teague at 13. I'm telling Finucane to take a week off and I'm starting McInnes. Cam McInnes is everything Dale
But you
for
just put
McInnes.
Teague at 13.
Yeah, McInnes and Teague can swap. Teague starts.
But you just said you were starting McInnes.
Talakai.
This is where it gets tricky, man.
Teague starts on the left, swaps Talakai in. Teague shifts across, one full spot to 13. McInnes takes a break, and then you go. You just reverse it. Teague can play 80. He's a big body. He should be making tackles. Talakai needs to learn to tackle. He has to get that one-on-one. If he can't, and what you're saying is true, he can't move in, he's got to play for Newtown. As simple as that, and I never thought I'd say those words because every time they go left, I'm like, oh, they're going to score. Tell me one other team other than the Tigers or perhaps the Dragons where that's going to be.
Probably the Dogs. Target Paul Alamoti every week and score a try.
That is sad. Now, you notice that? Target Paul Alamoti. I bet you we weren't running him once. Marion Seve is arguably
the worst
defensive centre in the competition. We ran at him twice in the first 45 minutes. He had 2 tackles at half time, Terry. Yes, I do know better than Craig Fitzgibbon.
Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
this is going to be a little bit more uplifting.
I can't see how it can't be.
Let's talk some top sport tips.
Rugby league, yes.
There's only 5 games.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I need the...
We're one of them, though. Ooh. Let's start. Look, last week, I don't know how we went. I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Last week
go back and check.
Give me that pen.
Yeah.
I don't want the glasses
no
on.
one go and check.
Friday night, the North Queensland Cowboys, a few Origin players missing against the Penrith Panthers.
No Thursday night game this week.
No Thursday night.
That sucks.
No, it's Friday. Sources have told
right,
us.
right,
Sources have told us it's Friday night. Thank you, League Live. Cowboys and Penrith, Origin depleted. No Nathan Cleary. The Cowboys, Reece Robson. I am an absolute Robson truther. I believe he's earned his shot in the Origin arena.
I don't think this is as much about the players that are out as the
players that are still in.
And you're going to have Jerome Luai versus Chad Townsend. Now, I'm not the biggest Jerome Luai fan in the world, but when it comes to the one-on-one battle there, I think he edges that just slightly, and I think the Panthers can go up there and win.
Yeah, there's also Jack Cogger has seamlessly, like Sean O'Sullivan, gone into that.
Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, Dylan Edwards is still there. Stephen Crichton's going to be playing as well.
That's easy.
A debut is coming on the wing for a young Panther. I'm hearing Jesse McLean.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's got to try on him.
Young Australian schoolboys. He's leapfrogged Tom Jenkins. I thought he would have been the one that would have gone into the side, but
they're both really
really good. Yeah. I'd kill for them.
Penrith.
And of course, Penrith is still going to have James Fisher-Harris, Spencer Linu, Scott Sorensen, Mitch Kenny. You joke about it. I'll take Mitch Carey.
Yeah,
Mitch
me
Kenny,
too.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to go an upset.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, Penrith by only 20.
Yeah, only 20. Geez.
Only 20.
You had me there for a second, Terry. Penrith for mine.
Now we get a Super Saturday.
Well, that's good.
We do get a Super Saturday until you realise that it kicks off with the Knights versus the Roosters.
Oh,
not a bad game. Not a bad
either.
game. Yeah, look.
You take what you can get.
Yeah, not many Origin players missing from this. Lindsay Collins from the Roosters, Tyson Frizzell
Tedesco
from the Knights. Yeah, Tedesco as well. But I mean, you wouldn't really call him a loss at the moment. Probably brings that back a little bit. Jesus, Kalen Ponga looks better than when he's gone back to fullback.
Yeah, who would have possibly guessed that, right? Yeah, look, Newcastle, and I wrote this, so it's you can go back and point to it as truth. They've been a bit unlucky.
Yes, they have.
They pushed Penrith to Golden Point, and they probably should have beaten the Broncos. Mm-hmm. I think they're a little bit better than what they sit, and I think, Terry...
I don't think they're a little bit better than what they sit at all. I think this is exactly where they are, and we called it, that they would push teams to the limit, but they don't have enough depth.
Look, yeah, they lack a little bit of class, but I think this weekend... I'll put it this way. If Joey Manu plays 6 rather than fullback, Newcastle.
Oh, dear God. He's a tragic...
Can you imagine if they go, this bloke runs and runs and runs and runs and refuses to pass, and they go, you know what, I'm going to put him in the halves rather than fullback.
That Sandon Smith looks really good.
Yeah, he does, and he should be at 6. That team could beat Newcastle, but I'm going to tip Newcastle. I think their forwards are just a little bit better than the current superstars that are the Roosters. Never thought I'd say those words.
I'm with you. I'm going to tip Kalen Ponga. The only reason why I'm picking Newcastle is Kalen Ponga and said that he ruled himself out of the Origin. Now I don't think he was going to get picked this year anyway. I just think that Ponga coming back saying that he's focusing on Newcastle, They need a win. They need a scalp. I think this is going to be it.
Done.
5:30, Parramatta against the Manly Warringah Seagulls.
Oh, the team of 0 halves available.
Yeah.
Josh Schuster may legitimately be the best half on the
Yeah.
field.
Are they going to have to move Clint Gutherson into the 6?
I don't think he can. I think Jay Carr... Oh, he's not there. He
He's
might
not
play
there.
for Manly.
He's going to play for Manly, isn't he? Yeah.
Ooh.
He's going to play halfback for Manly.
This has suddenly become the game of the round.
I think you've got to move Gutherson to 6 and put Simonson at fullback for this game.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you what. This is a game that I wish wasn't Origin affected because this is a superstar match.
Yeah, this would have been good.
It's been fun.
On that note, I'm going to pick Manly.
I'll go Parramatta just because of the King, who celebrated his birthday with a hattie.
To cap off your Saturday night, we have the West Tigers against the Melbourne Storm. No Harry Grant, who was phenomenal. No Cam Munster, who is phenomenal.
Xavier Coates.
No Xavier Coates. They've still got enough to beat them, though. Luke Brooks is out with a hamstring injury. Apicorosaur has got a sore jaw.
Yeah, that's a real shame. Yeah, I think Melbourne have been dealt a very lucky draw here.
A couple of weeks ago, I would have said the Tigers got dealt the lucky draw. I think Melbourne have as well. Nick Meaney's in real good form. Jerome Hughes is still playing.
Yeah.
They've still got Nelson. They've still got... Oh, Christian Walsh is going to miss the game.
Yeah.
Jesus, me calling him Tom Hazelton with a great Twitter account really backfired.
Yeah, since that moment, he's become incredible.
I'm going to pick Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Melbourne. With the greatest respects to the Tigers, you suck.
I can't see Melbourne. I'm going to tip the Tigers.
Fair enough.
Bastards. Speaking of bastards,
Why would they ruin what would otherwise be a fun weekend?
I get to spend it with you.
That's good for you.
That's about as good as I can say about this. The Sharks are going to play against the Canterbury Bulldogs at Shark Park.
Defence optional.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting one because either Nico Hines or Matt Burton's going to be 18th man. They're going to have to miss the game.
Let's hope it's Burton.
Let's
I've always
hope
said it's-
Burton's
the better player. Let's put him as 18th.
Yeah, let's put him in there. Cronulla, they've got to bounce back. They've got to make changes. They've just got to reset.
We do. I kind of hope that Cronulla don't come out and put 40 on the Dogs and go, see, everything's sweet, because it's not.
I hope they struggle to win.
But I kind of hope they do that because I need it, Terry.
Yeah.
I need it in the worst way.
This is a bounce back game.
The Sharks absolutely have to win this game. No ifs,
This is a
ands, or
bounce
buts,
back
and
game.
they have to win it well.
Bounce back, yeah. Our for and against was plus 80 and we were coasting. It's now plus 36 and Parramatta have a better for and against than us, 2 points behind us.
Big turnaround.
We are very lucky that some teams on the same amount of points dropped games this weekend as well. The Raiders unsuspectingly could have leapfrogged us, could have been a lot worse. Obviously the Dolphins went and got absolutely annihilated. I think we're back to picking us on the jinx.
Yeah, good Cronulla then for me, with zero confidence, to be honest. And we played the Bulldogs, 8 weeks ago? And I tipped Cronulla with pure confidence. So...
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport and the Stubby Club. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Jump online, give us some feedback. We had episode 2 of Rugby League Rumble. It was an absolute success.
Exceptionally well, Terry. AJ picked up the victory and has called you out.
Has he?
Yeah, so-
Wow, we'll have to knock that little rooster out.
Yeah, look, completely fair. But I think everyone's waiting for the catchphrase. I hate rugby league.